Hello people, and welcome to a long overdue episode of Bethel Brothers Hot Rod. This is going to be an episode of Project Chevy. I am Milo, the wonderful dog and new host of the show. I got this sidekick, Chucky, I do not like. No, I do not like the Chucky, but if you stick around and stay tuned, those wily Bethel Brothers will entertain you. When you run propane through these systems, because of its cold nature, it destroys gaskets, needle valves, all that junk. So, what Super Nut Twister is going to do is take all this junk off, take his carburetor off, take it to the Napa guy,
get the rebuild
kit,
right Rochester, rebuild it, and hook the gas back up.
Now sometimes you can go in and tell them what it is and they'll give you a kit and you're like missing the other half. You have to get the full, complete, and right kit for said carburetor, and sometimes these booger-eating part guys screw it up, so it's better to
hands-on, baby.
Hands-on. See it, monkey? See that? See that, monkey? Now go get the part. Good, monkey. Here's some money. Thank you, monkey. Goodbye, monkey. And it's only $35. Sometimes 25 bucks. But a new one, like from Summit, the one that I wanted to get for Sam when it wasn't working, it was 200 bucks or 250-ish for a shiny chrome one, and it looks real cool when you pick it up. Said, "Ooh, look at that! Look at that!"
Propane's leaking. Oh yeah, baby.
What he just took off is the vaporized intake for the propane injection. Okay, see?
That's where it squirts in.
That's where it squirts in. Right there.
This is a plunger valve, and it goes up and down.
Up and down.
The gas leaks
due to the pressure. You know, when it blows a certain amount of pressure from the regulator, it blows and pushes that down like a butt stop.
It's fantastic.
And sucks in the propane.
It's fantastic.
Now this thing's probably going to cough, wheeze, and choke when we put new gas in it, because it's ran on this for so long. But
I think there's a half a tank of gas from America in it.
Yeah, we got to drain that. You do not want to run old gas. It's bad, and it's got nasty.
It's
and
no longer flammable. It becomes varnish.
Yeah, it's varnish. You could drink it or something if you want.
I'll be needing that washing.
Yeah. So, once that's off and he gets the rebuild kit, I won't bore you any longer.
Let's bore him.
Let's bore him. You want to bore him? We haven't bored him in a long time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
We've been working. Sorry. We're trying to rebuild money, stimulating our economy.
I want to stimulate a new Model A. That's what I want to stimulate.
Kind of with Delvo, I've been thinking about building a bike, man. You know, just a crazy bike with a big, like, 20 horsepower motor.
I've been building motorcycles since I was a kid.
Big old crazy looking chopper.
I already built one of those.
You should have seen the Bike Week thing, dude. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch Del Boys thing at their Bike Tona thing. It's really worth watching. Those UK dudes go crazy on their modifications. You should see them. There's something else that's coming up in a future episode will be Project Good Deed. What's underneath this plasticky mess is
5.7 liter GM crate motor. Long block.
a long block. As for the Yukon that we got for our mom, she managed to kill another motor. So we're going to put this in, which she picked up for 1,400 bucks. Now, one thing I will say about this company, what was the name of them?
Right here.
They don't do very well in customer service. See all the oil that came out while they packed it?
It's not like that. They got sawdust and...
Sawdust, all kinds of stuff in it. And I gotta tell you guys...
Cardboard dust and then splinters off the wood down in the motor, so I had to vacuum it all out.
Right, so if anything goes wrong with this motor and you guys talking shit about it not being a problem, I'm gonna come find you and beat the shit out of you because this is for our mom.
I know where it is. It's alright. I've seen his car too. I'll smash it with an excavator.
So if you want a cheap motor,
that's not it.
You can go to these guys. Joe's got their card somewhere and I'll include it, but they're kind of idiots. So yes, you get a remanufactured engine, which we'll go into greater detail when the time comes.
West Coast engines.
West Coast engines.
Brady Calabash.
westcoastengines.com. They'll sell you remanufactured engines. They guarantee them for a year. They're on Facebook, YouTube. They boast all this stuff about how great they are, but in reality, they're not that great. Just saying.
Dude, you'd be better off to order an engine from Summit, because it was $1,400 and then $400 for the core charge for the engine, and I still got to swap all the parts off it, and for $1,800 plus driving, you have to drive to Sparks, Nevada to get it. So after all of that, I could have just ordered a full-on crate engine from Summit and then just dropped it in and had none of the headache.
Turn the key.
And not calling this douchebag and being like, hey, there's sawdust and wood chips in the motor. Oh, no, it's cardboard dust. Well, I don't care what kind of dust it is. When you pay $2,000 for a motor, I want it clean.
Yeah.
You know?
Which the block does look clean, but their packaging was shit. I don't know a nice way to say that for all you Christian and Catholic people out there, but that's the right word for it. It's shit.
Yeah.
So, merde.
French. There you go.
Ain't some French. It's merde.
Au revoir, mon ami. Merde.
Au revoir, mon ami. You melted. You can suck it. So we're gonna try dropping that in. If it doesn't work, you will see an episode of me and that dude driving over to go see these guys and kick the shit out of them.
He parks his car in Stockton and races. I'll just take an excavator and smash that little Nissan Z into a little fat pancake.
So you better pray, dude.
I called him and told him, and he told me, yeah, it's no big deal. Well, okay, I'm gonna put it together. It wasn't clean. It doesn't run right. Your Z gets smashed.
Period.
Just letting you know.
So there.
That's how I roll.
And he's waiting on his carburetor thing, so we don't know when that's going to happen.
It has to come from...
And we had a parade for this lousy crap old town in Lincoln because they bypassed it. Now all the people in this town are worried that nobody's going to come shop here, which they won't because it's a shithole. Okay? There's no theater here. There's nothing for entertainment. There's no live venues. Nothing. There's nothing. There's Del Webb, bunch of retired rich pricks. So, Lincoln, if you want to survive, you better up your game. Quit spending all your money on them retired old folks in Del Webb. Just saying. Joe is freshly back with his Itzlin engine management products. It's the rebuild kit for his Rochester carburetor. This and this will come off as this is part of the propane injection system for the carburetor. But you take everything off. Clean everything. Put it back together. And put all this stuff in there. See, when you see one of them, like a needle valve, put a new needle valve in. New injector. New seals. And new gaskets.
Bethel.
See, the propane makes these all...
It's just a UFO on top. Everybody's got a UFO.
UFO sighted in Lincoln today during the parade. And they detected there's nothing there. There aren't even like any decent restaurants. There's a bunch of empty buildings. Come to Lincoln and see our empty buildings. And the train that goes by once in a while.
Don't you know?
You guys are idiots. And the parade, they made a big deal about it on the news. It's retarded. I wanted to go down and like tell them, don't come out here. There's nothing here but these people standing here in a road that used to be a highway. They're idiots.
Old Pepsi.
Old Pepsi. So there's a lot of bolt twisting and then stuff putting on.
Spray it. But dismantle, douche, reassemble.
Douche.
Douche on the deck. My name's Douche on the deck. Yeah. My name's Margera.
And in the slim event chance that you forget what went where, there it all is. It comes with a schematic.
Either that or everybody's got a smartphone nowadays.
And you can look it up on YouTube.
Put your little phone down, hit record, and record you taking it apart.
Like with this device, you could go, oh, that screw went there.
Well, remember now?
Remember now? You hit rewind. It's like going back in time. Or you look at the picture. The schematic.
That smells like propane.
Yeah, propane smell. Rotten egg. Awesome. So, yeah.
Crazy, man.
So he's got it all apart. Now you can see where the gas goes in and all the magic happens, along with the floats that let the gas come in with the needle valve assemblies. Now it's just a matter of putting stuff back together and cleaning it out. As you can see, there was some dirty carbon depositing on them.
This one,
I gotta cut the little slides. That just usually means they gave you the wrong kit. Yep, that's what it usually means. 'Cause that's what happened to me last time. They gave me the wrong damn kit. Because if you get the right kit, everything should just pop right on. No doing nothing to it required. So, in fact, I think that goes right there anyway. So.
Oh, it goes on there.
No. I don't know. Refer to your chart. Ooh, look at that. It lines up.
Right, but it still has, the floats have to be able to drop down in the bowl. So they need to be
leave them
cut.
there so it don't work. They gave you the wrong kit, dude.
No, they didn't.
I guess I could throw some tips in here. Using a wire brush, like a dental tool on your one-tooth grandma, you just clean off the mating surfaces. You can also use these sprays. We're using Value Craft, as you use a lot. Times it doesn't really matter. It's ether-based, so you don't want to play with matches around it, unless you want to.
Spray it in a sock.
Yeah, Joe says spray it in a sock. You'll be fine. So you want to drain all your old gas, drink that, and then spray. Spray this on a sock and have that.
Put it over your wife's face and have a party.
But make sure it's not a real stiff brush, man, because these mating surfaces, if you get a bunch of scratches and junk, you're going to have a leak. These are machined, okay?
Yeah.
So you have to be soft and gentle.
No.
Like a summer's eve breeze. Dushan Mandic. But that's, you know, your tip. You just clean it up. Make sure all derbis and junk is off of it. And use something clean to wipe it off and then spray it down with the cheap carb cleaner. Get it? And then cut holes in your gaskets because they sent you the wrong one. Which you can make up on the old ones. This gasket that's under here, he's got to take all the floats off. I'd pull them off, but I'd drop his pins. I'm famous for that. And probably all the balls and pins. See, this is how Grubby does it. He just sprays it out on there, and then you throw a match at him while he's doing it. Makes it kind of fun. But it was dirty. They could explain why it didn't like running on gas when we did the conversion.
Look inside the float bowls. See, dirt.
Dirt.
Nothing runs good with dirt.
Right there's a whole bunch of it.
Dirt.
Dirt. You see it? Dirt. And all this little stuff our dad used, the RTV gel
I put
seal.
most of that in from cleaning out the top ball.
Yeah, but it sucks it in there and gets stuck. That's why you don't use that crap. You go with gaskets, man. Dad. You don't put RTV gel around gas. His gas dissolves it. Oil I can handle. Gas? Yeah, it's dirty down there, man. So here it is, day 2 of the epic cleaning it up thing. Joe's aligning some gaskets to make sure they're all... See, some of these holes are for flows, some are for screws, and if they don't line up in your kit, you got to match the ones that came off it originally, okay? On this mating surface right here, it's kind of rough, and it might need to be sanded lightly a little. I recommend a fine-tooth file or a light grit sandpaper, but Joe got these really clean. The only one left is the top end. Then we'll start putting it back together and throw it on the truck. Now, it's hard to see this, but the top thing's a spring, the shiny thing's a ball bearing, and that's the lifter to engage some stuff. You have to be careful with this junk, because if they sent you the wrong kit, don't lose any of this stuff, because you might have to reuse it. So, and they don't take these back once you open them, even if they're wrong, so you have to buy the other one. They're like, oh, that was the wrong one, fine, let me give you the right one. And they do that often. So, it looks like he's got the spring right there, inside that gasket. Some screens and stuff. I'm not seeing all the parts. He's probably, oh, they're there. So, just that's something to keep in mind. Don't toss your old part. Going into the final stretch, using some Q-tips and some expensive gas that goes in my Ninja to clean it. It won't run on cheap gas, but see, Q-tip, dirty. It's against Joey's pale pasty skin, dirty.
I take a, and then,
and a little wire brushy kind of thing from a Dremel to clean it up. Otherwise, it's the brass brushes. You don't want to manhandle this stuff, and he did fix those burrs that were hanging up on here that would have tore his gasket and caused a leak.
Of course he did.
The only thing left is the jets.
And check the floats.
And check the floats. Oh, and 2 needle valves and 2 gaskets. And then it's just putting all the stuff back on and making cuts in this for where the floats go, which will be tedious. Joe has managed to get the carburetor back together. Everything intact because we took pictures. He is, however, missing a screw, so I went to go get a screw. Alright, Joe's putting the carburetor back in the Chevy, and he's decided for the moment to keep it on propane for at least this week, yeah?
Yeah.
As he is going down to the Bay Area to inspect some other of those things to go fix. They're expanding and giving Joe a lot more territory, and they should give him a raise too, because he saves their company millions of dollars. I'm just saying that from an outside perspective. He's a good worker. They're lucky to have him. So, all that injection stuff, we're just gonna hook it back on. Normally there's a gas line. We had an old one in here somewhere. And then you just hook it up to that and keep it off the propane. You can't run propane and gas at the same time. It becomes extremely volatile, and the motor will hate you for it. So, we'll see if cleaning it out makes it run any better. Alright, final test. Actually, we already tested it, but for your point of view, you know, start the okay. Ta-da! So there you have it, boys and girls. Joe rebuilt his carburetor in the weekend. There'll be more, guaranteed. We'll break stuff. So, thanks for tuning in and watching Bethel Brothers Hot Rod. Peace out, babies.